somebody to actually buy a reverse mortgage?
It's not easy. I've been at it for some time.
Like, I'm just waiting for you to do that, or like sell gold and silver to, people that are working.
Oh, you're selling silver, man. You could sell some gold right now.
Gold or silver or both. Let's be honest.
Or blend both of them together?
Wow.
Has anybody even done that yet?
We call that Bitcoin.
He could be added to the Pawn Stars crew.
He could.
Just fit right in.
Well, he just looks like one of the Earnhardt brothers.
I'll take that.
That's pretty good.
I'll take that for sure.
Put
that on the bank.
Fast.
Yeah, put that on the bank. I'll take
Turning
that.
left
Let's
fast.
end it right there.
You want to end it right
Great
there?
show, guys. All right.
Yeah, all right. Arizona Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray's $230 million contract mandates he actually has to watch film. Danny Kanell of CBS Sports is going to join us to talk a little college football. And Aaron Judge continues to hit baseballs into the stratosphere. I'm Jake Crane, and welcome to Crane & Company. We're turning up.
On a Tuesday.
Playing the quarterback position is more than just throwing the ball and turning around and handing it off. You're considered the leader of the offense, and really the team in general, being that it's the most important single position on the field. Teams with quarterbacks who are their hardest workers and best leaders tend to fare a whole heck of a lot better than those that don't. So when you're deciding on who will lead your franchise when it comes contract time, there are so many variables that enter that decision. Now enter Kyler Murray, who, while short in stature, has Goliath-type ability and is without a doubt uber talented. But there's one glaring problem I see after finding a stipulation in his contract that mandates he must watch at least 4 hours of film outside of mandatory film study, or he will be in default of said contract, according to a source. Now, this is somewhat unprecedented and alarming, to say the least. You don't just put this clause in there if nothing is wrong or there isn't some level of worry about his preparation. They're actually going to give him credit like he's doing extra work in elementary school when he completes the extra 4 hours. Now, the NFL is full of talented players, and if you don't prepare, there is no way in hell you're going to even get close to reaching your maximum potential. Now, this stipulation leads me to believe that Kyler Murray was winging it somewhat when it came to getting ready for games, which is something that should never happen and makes me think he might not really care enough. Now, an NFL quarterback is basically an extension of a coach on the field, an offensive coordinator that can play, or even a player coach, Jackie Moon style. And not doing the extra film study or putting in the extra effort to know everything that you possibly can would scare me to death if I was a Cardinals fan right now. Attitude reflects leadership, and I'm sure the Cardinals don't want their players out there just guessing instead of knowing. Now, Kyler has all the skills to be very special, but that's only half of the recipe for an all-time great quarterback. The middle side can take you from potentially dangerous to devastatingly elite. It's been the guiding light for guys who may not have the raw athleticism that Kyler Murray has, which is most of the quarterbacks in the NFL. Now, Kyler's gotten the bag, but he better get in the film room or this will be the last one he gets. Because never forget, those who don't care don't last. Bringing in my co-host here, David Cohn, and the Monopoly guy, my brother.
You got to stop
give you $200 if you pass go with the mustache right now. Just get him a top hat and a cane and go buy a railroad.
Monocle.
It looks great.
I just feel like that guy's short. That guy's short.
So that's what
I'm
it's about.
6'3", guys.
Tom Selleck's a big guy. I compared you to Tom
I'm talking about
Selleck.
no, that's fine. But Monopoly guy? Monopoly guy? Really?
Look, I'm riding this until the motor stops.
Okay,
so
well, you're going to force me to do something that I don't want to do.
Don't do it.
You're boxing me in right now, and I don't like it.
Are you accusing me of bullying?
Yeah, I am.
God. All right, this segment brought to you by Charmin Ultra because my brother's so unbelievably soft. But back to Kyler Murray. This to me scares me to death. The fact that you had to put this in the contract, quarterback, you should be having to drag them out of the building because it's not like college. And even in college, you have guys that watch a ton of film. We're going to ask Danny Kanell from CBS Sports about this. But in the NFL, there is no class. There is no recruiting. There is no really outside things other than you're in that building and it's football, football, football. And you having to put a certain amount of hours that Kyler Murray has to watch film to me, Cone, I don't know how you spin this and say, oh, well, it's not a big deal. Do you think maybe Kyler was just like, listen, I just wake up and piss excellence? Or what type of situation is this?
Short this stock now. And that's not a hype joke. Short this stock now. Short this stock now is what I'm saying. If you're having to tell a quarterback in the NFL that he has to watch film, it's not going to get any better once you just paid him $230 million. I mean, we were watching, and not only you have to watch film, 4 hours a week? What is that? We were watching 10+ hours a week of film in high school. At Michigan, I can't ever remember a time we left the film room. I think I still have partial blindness from Scott Leffler.
Well, I got carpal tunnel from the cowboy clicker.
Exactly. So short this stock now. I mean, if you're a Cardinals fan and you still want to look on the bright side, here's what you can say. Kyler Murray is probably still going to throw for 3,500+ yards this season, 25+ touchdowns. His completion percentage probably still going to be 64%+. That's great. Maybe they make the playoffs. It's better than some alternatives. So if you're a Cardinals fan, you can tell yourself that. But if you're having to tell an NFL quarterback that you have to get into the film room more, you're not making the players around you better, and I don't have much hope for the franchise.
Well, Blaine, as somebody who had Kyler Murray in their top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, do you still feel the same way?
I did not.
Huh?
Didn't?
No.
Okay.
We can go back and we got the great thing about it is we got a graphic. We can pull it up.
Okay. Well,
but I feel like I did say this. I feel like you could put Dak and Kyler at 10.
I don't disagree.
I'd be okay with that, but this is the most junior college thing I've ever seen from a guy who coached JUCO. Like, just some JUCO kids are great, but not the best study habits. Okay, they're not the best study habits. But I wanted to see how far this rabbit hole goes, because Kyler Murray. Let's not forget, Kyler Murray won a Heisman.
Oh, he's nice.
Did he win a Heisman without watching film?
See, well,
did he do the least and achieve the most individually in college by winning a Heisman? Because you're not going to, let's think about it. NFL, it's football, baby. It's all day. You're not going to English class, not going to chemistry, you're not seeing this teacher, that teacher. But Kyler Murray, this is insane to me. First of all, Kyler Murray's kind of different. He's one of those he's a gamer. Like, the kid likes to play games, Xbox, all this other stuff. But the fact that for one, how do you monitor this? If you're the Cardinals,
you like a bracelet on
have
his ankle?
like Mr. Jeeves or Alfred in the corner of his house watching him watch film. Like, how do you do that? And two, if you're a player in that locker room, all right, and it's whatever you're watching film, or maybe in a drive, it's 3rd and 6, and Kyler maybe slides the protection wrong. In your head, you're immediately thinking, what?
You didn't watch it.
He was on Rocket. He was playing Rocket last night.
He actually watched. This is insane to me. The fact that you signed this and let this go public, scary, man.
Hey, I want to get to the Booster Club, and I believe we have the chat back today on the Daily Wire as well. Really excited about that. But I want to go and bring in Danny Kanell, former quarterback, and pick his brain about this situation, because Kyler Murray's unbelievably talented, but this, again, just makes me feel weird. Danny, what's up, man?
How's it going, fellas? It's great to be on, man. I'm fired up to be back on with you guys.
Yes,
so
sir.
This Kyler Murray situation is an absolute joke. I could not believe this. So everyone, I would say almost probably 90% of players have the offseason workout clause in there. It's just a way to make sure guys are in shape.
Yeah.
That in itself is kind of like the quarterback really needs that, but all right, that's kind of normal for an NFL contract. For the 4 hours of independent study, to me, says the Arizona Cardinals are very concerned about Kyler's off-the-field habits. And if they have concern, why did they just back up this $230 million deal? It just blows my mind. I think this is going to be a disaster. I think this is not going to work. I think it's going to drag the organization down. I think it's going to create dissension in the locker room.
Yeah.
This is just an absolute mess. So I would say most starting quarterbacks watch 4 hours of film on Tuesday.
Yeah.
You guys know what Tuesday is, right? It's the off day when no one has to be in the building.
Exactly.
So, and they're starting to get a head start on the next team. And you guys brought up some great points, too, about like who's monitoring this? Who's going to make sure that is he just checking a box? Is he sleeping? You know, I went to Florida State. A lot of guys had to be in class. It didn't mean they were paying attention during class. So does he just sit there and kind of nap during the 40 minutes a day that it requires? This just is going to create more problems than anything. And I think this is a bad contract. I think it's a bad deal. I think it's going to hold Arizona back.
Well, yeah, I agree 100% with you, Danny. And again, talking about being able to monitor it. And the dissension part to me is a really big deal, because now that this is in there and it's out, and you knew it was going to get out, that's going to be in the back of somebody's mind. And we know Kyler, and I'm not challenging his competitiveness on game day, but this isn't high school. You can't get away with this and be what he wants to be and what the Cardinals are paying him to be, which is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. To me, it's like if I was an airline and I'm out here, I got my best pilot, and I'm like, all right, we want to pay you the most, but you got to make sure you know how the plane works. It's just, to me, it just absolutely blows my mind to look at it. And Danny, it's almost the inverse of somebody like a Tom Brady or somebody that doesn't have that elite athleticism to be able to fall back on, and they use the mental ability to be able to get the ball out quicker because I know where it's going. If I can anticipate it, I can beat the clock. Is this like a reverse world Tom Brady, Kirk Cousins, guys that are in the lab, Matt Stafford? Is it the inverse, to quote a math term? I can't believe I'm doing that.
Yes, absolutely. It's Bizarro Jerry from a Seinfeld term. It's the exact opposite of what you're supposed to do. Now, you guys were talking about a Heisman Trophy winner. Did he win the Heisman without studying film? I say absolutely. College is a different game. Johnny Manziel didn't watch any film. And here's the thing. When you watch these quarterbacks on tape, as somebody who tried to play from the pocket, and just when you watch film of any player, you can kind of see the concepts. You can start to see what he's supposed to be reading, his progressions, where the protection is sliding to, when he's got to get rid of the football. When I watch Johnny Manziel in college, when I watch Kyler Murray, even some in the NFL, you can't really tell. You know why? Because they're relying on their athleticism. Yeah. Then all of a sudden becomes pickup like you're outside with your boys, which you can get away with to a point. Manziel was incredible, and then it caught up with him in the NFL. Kyler Murray is that much more of an athlete where he's gotten away with it from this point. But teams are going to do a better job corralling him in the pocket. I mean, I'm not saying Lamar Jackson has these problems at all as far as film study, but every quarterback, defensive coordinators study you all offseason long, especially the teams in your division because they play you twice. They're going to come up with schemes to stop your skill set. That's why Peyton was constantly, Tom Brady's still studying to this day because he knows there's a game of chess and teams are taking away what you do well every single year. Yeah. So you have to evolve. And I think that's what the Cardinals are saying. Look, you can only take this so far. You have to evolve. The thing I don't know is if Kyler's bought into it. It surely doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, well, Johnny Manziel's read was, "Where's Mike Evans? He's not open. Let's figure it out." That was the offense. But Danny, I do want to transition to college here, and I want to start. Obviously, you know as much about Florida State as anybody. You look at Mario coming over to Miami. Now, Billy Napier at Florida, it's going to take some time. I never thought I'd utter these words. Florida's roster's not good enough right now. I'm still trying to convince myself that saying that makes sense. But do you think, and I know it's early, but we've seen him hit the recruiting trail. I mean, what they're doing up front is amazing already. Do you think Mario Cristobal is eventually going to run Mike Norvell out of town?
Oh, I didn't know you were going to go there, dude. Putting me right on the spot.
Well, and again, I don't have to, you don't have to bury the guy right now, but do you think that is without a doubt the biggest threat right now to Florida State with Mario going to Miami? To quote Kanye from South Park, "I'm going home, y'all."
Yeah, it was. And so, I was talking about this with some people on social media when the job was open, when they fired Manny. And there were two names that would have concerned me. It was Lane Kiffin and Mario Cristobal. Yeah. Lane, because he gets, that would have meant they would have done whatever it takes to win. Or Mario, same exact line. And they've got John Ruiz, this billionaire booster, who is funding all of this movement, this massive push to get Mario in there to say, look, I'm going to do whatever it takes to give you the facilities, the resources, the backing, the players to bring Miami back. So Mario's got that. I also like his track record. I mean, Mario's got an outstanding resume of where he's been. He's coached under Nick Saban. He won at FIU down in Miami, so he already played at Miami. But he already knows the landscape recruiting-wise. Then he goes out at Oregon and wins out there, brings that program kind of back and puts another stamp on that map. He's won everywhere he's been. He's got a disciplined mindset. I don't know how you guys feel. I love that he got rid of the turnover chain and was like, nope, this is a new era. We're starting no more talk about swag. Let's go out and be about it instead of just acting like we're about it. So yeah, I as a Florida State guy, I'm concerned with Mario's building, but I also think there was a time when Florida State, Miami, and Florida all were good. And that's really what I hope for, because I thought college football was in its pinnacle, in its heyday, when the national championship ran through the state of Florida. I might be biased, but I do think you could have Mike Norvell go toe-to-toe with Mario Cristobal. I'm not saying they might win this year, but you could be competing for the same players. And I would say it's changing so much. It's not so much about the coach as the individual. It's about the resources, and that concerns me greater. Miami has a resource in this booster who's willing to do whatever it takes. Florida State is still looking for people to step up, and until I get a new deal from CBS or somebody, I can't afford to do that. So we'll see what happens there. And it seems like Florida, I think people are sleeping on Florida a little bit.
I think they are too.
If Anthony Richardson, gets it together and Billy Napier who I think wants to build a system around like he did with Levi Lewis at Louisiana. I think people are sleeping on a little bit on Florida. Not that they're going to knock off Georgia, but they still could be the second best team in the East.
I got them beating Utah early in the season. A lot of people think I'm crazy for that. Danny, yeah, that Cone. That's all right. I appreciate it. Hands down. Danny, I want to ask you about something because it's fascinating to talk about with all the movement we're seeing in college football, with conference realignment. Obviously, Texas and Oklahoma go in the SEC, USC and UCLA, and Blaine, get the Booster Club hot while we're at it. But, you have talked about relegation before and using, kind of that model we see in soccer and across the pond over there. Do you think relegation is feasible with the way that college athletic departments are set up and these contracts with conferences? Like, how is that something you still think, while it's not likely, I think we can agree on that. Do you think it is feasible?
Oh, I think it would be incredible. I think it's probably, what's the Mega Millions is up to almost $1 billion. Like, I don't know if it's quite that much of a long shot if you had a ticket for one of those, but I do think it's just such a pipe dream because there's hostility between the conferences. There's no trust. There's no continuity. There's no single person or group that is saying, we're all going to do this because it's for the best of the game. Mm-hmm. If we could get that, then I think Greg Sankey would probably be the best person because he's smart, he's brilliant, he's got he's got he's cut his teeth in the SEC, he's made that the premier conference that already was, but he built on that. I think he would be the best for it. But even if you just had him and Kevin Warren come together and say, you know what, we have an opportunity at this really critical juncture of college football to do something special, to rip up the past and start fresh. And there's a lot of people concerned about this future of college football, myself included, with paying the players, transferring, no free agency. Like, there's a lot of concerns about the game. If you were able to get those two alone on the same page, and then everybody else would have to fall in line. But if you had 130 schools, which is the number of FBS schools, collectively bargaining with the NFL or with the broadcast networks together, imagine the power of that. If you could sell them on, all right, we've got 32, 40 teams that we're going to call the Champions League or whatever the top tier league is, and then we've got our group of 5 teams, which will be right below that. But we're going to have the group of 5 play their own playoff. We're going to have the Power 5, what we know, I'm using the old terms, but it would look different. We're going to use these top tier teams to have their own playoff. But guess what? The month of November stinks for a lot of college fan bases, right? It's just the season's over. You're not making the playoff. Maybe you make a bowl. If you could infuse some life into that with the group of 5 teams at the top of their conference that say, if you win the Mountain West, you're going to get bumped up and you're going to potentially knock out Rutgers out of the Big Ten. Imagine not only the group of 5 game that's playing, or the Mountain West championship that's playing for that, but imagine Rutgers' last regular season game. Like, they're hanging on by a thread to make sure they don't lose because they could be bumped down or relegated to a lesser level. And the thing that drives me nuts is it's already geographically, it sits perfectly with the Sun Belt, the SEC. You could have the MAC in the Big Ten, the Mountain West, and the Big 12. I mean, who knows what the Pac-12 future is going to be. But you kind of already have it aligned perfectly. And then guess what we would get? We would actually get some parity in the game instead of having 3 teams that win the national championship and that's it. I do think it's going to take a massive overhaul.
Yeah, well, Danny, see, in my mind, I thought relegation was like one big pot, one little pot, you go from one to the other. But are you saying that if you're like Pac-12, for example, whatever's going to be left of that, if you fall a certain place in the Pac-12, a team from the WAC that's close to you would overtake you into the Pac-12, and then they would go to the WAC. So while geography is disappearing in front of our very eyes, that is a lot more feasible to me than having one super league, one little league, and now the Sun Belt teams going to play the teams in the WAC and stuff like that. From a travel standpoint, that actually makes sense to me, David.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it would be phenomenal. And imagine, so the money that's out there too, I mean, it sounds big because, the Big Ten's going to do this $1 billion deal, $100 million per school. Mm-hmm. College football hasn't even come close to tapping in what their true potential could be if they could all get in the same page. The NFL, their TV deals are worth about $11 billion, and there's only 32 teams. Now, it is king, but imagine if you had some similar mindset where you could get everybody on the same page and play the networks off each other, the money would be so great that you could actually start paying the players, compensate them, give them a piece of the pie. There'd be money enough to save the non-revenue sports. I have 3 daughters. I want to make sure there's still golf scholarships, tennis scholarships, soccer scholarships, every non-revenues. I played baseball. I want those programs to thrive and still succeed. So that to me would really, like, we're talking about it like it's these huge numbers, and compared to the NFL, it's not even close, except if you look at the product and the ratings, I know it's not the NFL, it's not quite there, but imagine what it could be if you had a true playoff and you had true relegation. I think it would threaten and knock on the door of it.
I find that fascinating.
It is an interesting idea. I mean, conference realignment's all over the place. Last time we had you on, we were talking about how chaotic NIL is. The transfer portal has somehow gotten even more out of control since we talked last time. In some desire just to get back to ball, I want to ask you, what's your favorite play on 3rd and 8?
I had my favorite one was 60Y option. Very simple play. My
Break
guy,
it down.
McCorvey, was the Y. And he had like the 3-way go. He could go out, in, or he could go to the post. And then if it was a soft zone, he could hook up. And we had such a good innate feel for each other. And then if they bracketed him on the inside, we had some comebacks on the outside, little like acute routes, like 12 to 10, back to 10 that were just past the chains. We had, it was just good protection. It was a 6-man protection.
Yeah.
That was probably my favorite one. But I like talking some ball, man. It
I
feels like
that.
forever being able to talk some ball.
Well, we'll have to do that each time you're on. I will ask you here about the ACC. Jake touched on Miami a little bit. Look, Wake Forest is going to be good again this year. I think North Carolina State's going to be good. Obviously, Clemson, I mean, they supposedly had a bad year last year, still won 10 games. A lot of great quarterbacks in that league, too. Who are you very bullish on in the ACC this season?
So a lot of the teams you mentioned, and of course, like Miami, I look at with a grain of salt. I feel really good about Tyler Van Dyke. I think they're probably a year away from really being good when some of those young, talented players they're getting in get a chance to develop under Mario's system. I think they'll be good, but I don't think they're going to win the ACC. And I mean, the quarterback position is so strong in the conference. I think there's 4 or 5 teams that are really going to be pushing to play in the ACC championship game and potentially knocking off Clemson. I do think people are sleeping on Clemson, and one of 2 things is going to happen for sure. Because Dabo was out there talking about DJ Uiagalelei like we just cast him aside, and we did because we should have. He was awful at quarterback last year, but they did not have anybody to go to. They had no option, so he was kind of stuck out there. And as a quarterback, I felt bad watching him because at times I played bad. I needed to get benched so I could just get a breather. And then because and Dabo gave the reasons. The offensive line was bad. They had some injuries. They didn't figure out Will Shipley till later. So if you take him out, another quarterback goes in there and they still struggle, that's almost a good confidence boost for the guy that's struggling because he's like, it wasn't me. Like, thank goodness it wasn't me. This year, Dabo comes in there, guns blazing. Hey, DJ's our guy. You treated him like he was a slapdick and all this stuff that he said. What I can't, and he, in his answer, he said mentally he was shot last year. He lost his confidence. And I think it stemmed from the pick six against Georgia. It was a massive play in that game. It was the difference in the game. People start looking at you differently how are you going to respond? And he never really recovered from that. Is an off-season away, losing 30 pounds, spring game, camp, is that enough for him to gain his confidence? Is 3 or 4 games leading into the Wake Forest game, and is that going to bring his confidence up if he puts up some solid stats? So it's either going to happen. DJ's either going to be better or they're going to go to Cade Klubnik. So they're not going to be worse at quarterback than they were this year. And like you guys mentioned, they were 9-3 in the regular season. They got the bowl win to get to 10 wins. And even in their games they lost, they were still competitive with this offense, which was hamstrung by DJ. So I think the offense, fresh set of eyes, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator. I think people are sleeping on Clemson somewhat as a national championship contender, but a lot of it hinges on how does the quarterback play, and we'll see who it is. If it's DJ or Klubnik, I don't know, but it's going to be better.
Yeah, and to me, I think until he does it in an actual game, I use baseball for an example. I hit great in inter-squad scrimmages. I hit great in the cage, but until I got up there to the plate and there was a guy throwing me the ball that I wasn't used to seeing, or he was on the other team, until I was able to make good constant contact, I didn't feel as good about it.
All right, I'm going to go straight to the Booster Club here.
Go,
Danny, all right, M. Hutton, question for Danny. Outside of Alabama, Georgia, and Ohio State, what team has the best chance to win the national championship this season?
So I gave you Clemson, and Clemson probably would be the pick that I go with, and it's not too much fun because it's like last year it was, who is it not besides Clemson, right? So I'll go ahead a little bit further down, and I know you guys talked about the Florida-Utah game. How about Utah from the Pac-12?
Nice.
Kyle Whittingham is constantly slept on. This team is always overlooked. USC, I saw a stat the other day, I think Fox put it out, that USC has the most amount of money put on them to win the national championship.
And guys in LA just throwing money out the window.
I want to open my Venmo and just say, I'll start taking on those bets for USC. Utah is physical. They play physical defense. Cam Rising, that offense really took off last year. I think Kyle Whittingham is an underrated coach. I think Utah, if they win against Florida, I think they're going to, and I think they can. I'm more concerned about conditioning. That swamp, it is the swamp for a reason. Playing at Salt Lake, I'm actually headed vacation in Park City, so we fly into Salt Lake City. I looked at the weather, and their training camp starts, in a couple weeks like everybody else. It's like 85, and at night it gets down to 55. It's a little chilly at the morning practice. You might need sleeves. You go to the swamp, you bet it's going to be an issue. And I don't care if the game's at night, it's going to be humid. I know they'll be conditioned, but I wonder what impact that has on the game. But if they go and they win, something that remember Auburn played Oregon, and Oregon fell up just short in Atlanta, and that kind of kept Oregon out of the national championship. I think this game is that important for Utah. If they win that game, I think they thrust themselves into the playoff conversation and the national championship conversation. So I think Utah is that team that I would probably peg from outside that group that I would keep an eye on, that I kind of like the value of them. Yeah. I'll give you one more too. Texas A&M. I do think there's a significant drop-off in Bama, Georgia, and the rest of the SEC, which I do think could be a problem. Like if Bryce Young gets hurt, if Bama stumbles, if something happens with Georgia and their defense gets gutted by somebody, I don't think those things happen. But the two SEC teams everybody has chalked into the playoffs, I think that could be a problem if one of those things happens. And then Texas A&M, they knocked off Bama last year, and it comes down again. We've seen the talent. We see the young talent that was just there in this recruiting class, but it's going to come down to the quarterback. If Haynes King or Max Johnson flourishes, I think Texas A&M could be ahead of schedule and could challenge. They've already knocked on the door of the playoffs one other time. They could do it again if they get the offense figured out, especially at quarterback.
Yeah, Blaine, we'll go one more to the Boosters Club. But I actually have Utah, like we were talking about, losing to Florida, but still winning the Pac-12. I do think they're that talented. And a lot of similar reasons you're talking about, Denny, the weather, kind of the way it works down there, new coach, first game, everybody will be pumped up. Oklahoma's one that's interesting to me. Yeah. I got them winning the Big 12. I don't think they have enough to win the national championship, but I love the Brent Venables hire.
All right, we're talking about Florida, so let's stay on it. Daniel the Camel, does Florida or Florida State have more of a chance to become a national contender in the next 5 years?
Well, that's good.
Ooh, that's a good one, Blaine. You guys got some tough ones, man.
Look, we're bringing the heat, Danny. Look, Rule 17, that we live by it, no excuses, play like a champion.
Yeah, I want to play both sides, but I'll go ahead and take, this is tough.
Go with your heart, Danny.
Go with your heart, Danny. I am very, very concerned about this ACC TV deal and how, because the other teams, the ACC teams are already playing with a hand tied behind their back with, a deal that's half of what the SEC and Big Ten are getting in revenue from the TV deals. That's only going to increase. So Florida is going to have an advantage, resources, what they're able to potentially pay the players in NIL, what they can what their recruiting budgets, all of it. They can spend more. So that's the reason why I think I would say Florida, but it's not to say that I don't believe that Mike Norvell is a better coach and can bring Florida State back to relevance, but resources matter. This is a talent acquisition business. And like I mentioned before, Florida State they're starting a collective. It's nice, and so is Florida, but they have a bigger booster base. I feel like they have a more a willing booster base that's willing to do what it takes being in the SEC. So I'd say from all the ancillary stuff that goes into college football, I think Florida and Billy Napier have the advantage.
Yeah, I love that answer. Somebody from Florida State needs to make a social media app that takes off. Maybe that's the move. Maybe Dion starts one. Prime.
We have Sarah Blakeney, the lady that started Spanx. So I'm not joking. Like, she is a Florida State graduate. She's a billionaire. We need her. I don't know if she likes college football. So we need to get maybe the team wear Spanx and pants and it would look really good in them. Imagine their butts would be really good if they wore Spanx.
I'm taking LSU. I'm taking LSU in the opener.
On board. Then we start buying some players. That's what we need.
Look, whatever, you got to get in where you fit in. But Danny, I appreciate you coming on, man. This is always so much fun. College football season is almost here. Tell everybody where they can find your work, dude. You're one of the best in the business.
Every day on SiriusXM channel 84, Dusty and Danny in the morning, and then on the Cover 3 podcast with CBS Sports HQ. Check it out.
Yeah, we got a great one with Bud Elliott coming on at some point this week as well. It was good to catch up with him at SEC Media Days, but can't wait to have you on again, my friend.
You got it, guys. Have a good one.
You too, brother. Man. All right, now, if you want to watch the rest of the show, remember, we're going to have the audio here. Head over to dailywire.com. Go ahead and become a member. It's an unbelievable place. New, unbelievable content you can check out. And you can also listen to the show on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Subscribe, leave a 5-star review like the players you want your team to sign, and share it with all your friends and your personal enemies. We'll be right back. Back. Cone. You know what we say when it's 4th down. Maybe it's 4th and short. Maybe it's 4th and long, but time's running out of the clock. What are we saying?
Man, I'm going to say punt or go time.
Let's do it.
Okay?
Let's do it.
Start with Aaron Judge because he is having some kind of special season. 37 bombs right now. Punt or go, will Aaron Judge, this is a two-parter, by the way.
Okay.
Punt or go, will Aaron Judge hit 65 home runs this season?
I'm going to go because why not? He's a giant playing in a Little League field. And he's having a great year, and I'm not saying it's just because they have a Cracker Jack box in New York that they play baseball in. But Aaron Judge has become a complete hitter. You know, you see these guys, and you're like, well, this guy's a pull hitter. This guy, you know, he can really just hit the fastball, and he gets lucky against off speed. Aaron Judge is a complete hitter. I'm watching this guy and how pitchers are trying to attack him. He's so long, and he has such reach. Where are you going to throw it? Like, where's the weak spot? You almost just got to get a lefty out there and try and backdoor slider him to death. What do you throw it over his head? But if you look at his eye too, he's not up there just trying to swing as hard as humanly possible. He's got great feel. He can hit the off speed. He can hit the ball the other way. He can keep his hands back on the guys throwing slower and hit a home run over the right field fence anywhere, not just in Yankee Stadium. So to me, Aaron Judge has become a complete hitter. And when you're straight out of Mordor and you're that size and you're swinging a tree, basically, of course, I would not be shocked if Aaron Judge hit more than that, to be honest.
More than 65?
I would not. What Aaron Judge would not shock me if Aaron Judge hit any amount of home runs because he can hit the ball off the handle, off the end. He can flip it upside down and hit it off the knob, and it still has a chance to go out.
Blaine?
I'm feeling 63 bombs.
63, okay.
63 bombs.
So he passes the 60 threshold.
Yeah, he gets past 60, but I don't think he gets to 65. I think he gets close, but 63. Still don't know what cave they went in and got him out of, how many people.
Same one Purdue's going to get their guys out of.
Apparently they got in there, he was just throwing spears at him. He's just bigger than everybody. But yeah, I mean, Aaron Judge, I mean, he's turning into a complete hitter. I call him Reptar. I mean, walk him.
Walk him. Listen, walk him. Johnny Cash, this whole thing.
When's the last time someone hit 60? Has someone hit 60 since Barry Bonds hit 73?
I'd have to go look it up right off the top of my head. I hate when you ask me specific trivia questions like that.
So now I
should know it, David.
The entire rest of the show, David.
Let me ask you about this, though, with Aaron Judge and Juan Soto. Who would you, if you could take only one of them, you're building a baseball team right now, who would you take?
I'm so glad you asked.
Is it a no-brainer?
I think it's a no-brainer, not because I don't think Juan Soto is elite. I mean, Juan Soto is an incredible hitter. He's an incredible baseball player. Anybody that can turn down $440 million tells you what they think about him. But I went and looked at some numbers. You know, I put on my hat, hit the machine, you know, put it in. Juan Soto right now scored 57 runs. He does have 25, 30 less at bats. And I get it, the Nats and the Yankees are in totally different spots and have totally different lineups. Okay, it's hard to hide. It's a lot easier for you to pitch around Juan Soto what the Nats have than Aaron Judge with Murderers Row that they have there. But Juan Soto scored 57 runs. Aaron Judge scored 80. Juan Soto has 45 RBIs. Aaron Judge has 81. Juan Soto's hitting 245. Aaron Judge is hitting 295, almost 300. So to me, while Juan Soto is unbelievably talented and he would be a great addition to any team, and I know the Nats aren't going to send him to the Braves unless, you know, Alex Anthopoulos worked his witchcraft and wizardry. But to me, I think it's Aaron Judge, and I think it's, an absolute PJ Fleck. It's a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer. Blaine, what do you say?
What do you think I'm going to say?
I think I know what you're going to say.
All rise. Aaron Judge, look at him. Just look at him, David. Just look at him.
What's your nickname for him again?
Reptar?
Reptar.
Off Rugrats?
Yeah. Either that or he just looks like the thing off the Goonies and can swing a bat. He loves chocolate and hitting home runs.
I do too. Those are actually two of my favorite
What about Juan
things.
Soto does the slide up, though?
Cool. You know what's cooler than that? When he hits it 460 feet. That's cool.
That one got
my guy. Watch this.
Blaine
Is Aaron
said-
Judge going to be a Yankee next season?
He better. He better, or I'm going to freak out.
Is Flamin' Dragon going to burn it
well.
down?
Freak out.
so
Like,
well.
I don't understand. Don't say that. No, he wouldn't. Wouldn't be a good fit. I don't think it'd be a good fit.
You
Just
get
wouldn't look
him,
right.
Shohei.
Aaron Judge.
right
First
in.
of all, let's get Juan and Aaron. Let's be honest. We're the Yankees. Pay him.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. That's it.
Yeah,
We're the
we'll pay
Yankees.
him.
Let's pay everybody. Let's get all the best players.
Yeah, that's how you get people in baseball, Dave. You pay them.
Yeah, I get it.
You
That's why
pay them
have
to come
that's
play
why
for
you're
your
supposed
team.
to have a salary cap,
God, don't
right?
those
To
pinstripes
increase
just-
parity, right? But then in
Are you
baseball,
gonna
you
start
can just
Dr.
go over
Strange
it, and then you just
again?
go
Don't do it
luxury tax.
again. Please don't send
All right,
Blaine
so
into
listen,
the. Yeah.
I'm gonna
Get out of my head.
I'm going to get on to my next one now.
Okay, go ahead.
Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot has pitched for the Soldier Field, the stadium in Chicago, their Soldier Field, to have a dome on it, Jake, so that fans stay in the stadium longer.
And the bullets don't fly into the stadium.
I don't really know how.
Look, I'd stop worrying about Soldier Field and start getting soldiers in the city. The last thing Chicago needs to be worried about right now is whether there's a roof on top of the Bears football stadium. Y'all got way more problems than whatever whatever she thinks. I'll take the opposite.
Okay.
So that's how I'm gonna work that out.
So you're shorting that stock. I'm shorting Kyler
Dude,
Murray.
look, I'll Peter Dinklage the whole stock. Give me the shortest stock possible.
Look, don't do it.
Dome on Soldier Field?
Don't do it.
Can you imagine Brian Urlacher? It's just not the same.
Don't do it. Stop trying to do stuff like this. Just leave it how it is. It's cool. It's like, you're not going to do it with Lambo, are you? The snow,
It's an advantage.
It's the snow, like, different elements brings out different character in guys. There's nothing scarier until when you see a lineman who's a giant and it is 14 degrees outside, wearing no sleeves, looks like he's wearing no socks and is sweating. You know how scary and how there's nothing scarier than a huge person who doesn't get cold. It's horrifying.
That is true. It's be very effective in
Can y'all
many
make
realms.
sure to put that in the weekly highlight?
Yeah, please.
Horrifying.
All right.
It's like a bomb snowman.
Oh, next one. We have actually some footage here, okay, that leaked from Aaron Rodgers starring in the new Con Air sequel.
Listen,
and I wanted to get your take on it.
First off, SportsCenter's Twitter handle totally swagger jacked my tweet. I tweeted that I tweeted once this came out that the Con Air reboot's going to be awesome. 10 minutes later, SportsCenter's like, hey, it's Aaron Rodgers. Looks like Nicolas Cage in Con Air. Here's 9,000 likes. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and put that out there. But if you try and look me in the eyes and tell me Aaron Rodgers did not dress up exactly like Nicolas Cage from Con Air, roll the footage. Put the bunny back in the box.
Yeah, he did this on purpose.
Yes, he did. It's Aaron Rod. Look at that.
Look at the backpack.
The hair
backpack
swipe was
toss.
so
Somebody on Twitter said that he looks like every drunk stepdad in any movie. I'm just waiting for him to, like in Friday Night Lights, like with Tim McGraw, he just throws his ring out the window. But Aaron knows what he's doing.
What would he do for a living if football didn't exist?
Oh, man. What Aaron would do?
Yeah.
annoyingly work on cars in his driveway at late hours. That's what he
Like how late? Like 2
Like, it's 2 a.m. You hand me a wrench.
Yeah. You're out
go
there
to
changing the defibrillator.
Just go to bed.
Going in there working on the old thingamajigger. No, but that's 100% Nicolas Cage.
For some reason, I don't know why, maybe it's just me, but he reminds me of those guys off South Park who just sit in the bar and every person who walks in there is like, we don't take kind.
Your kind.
Your kind. I can see Aaron doing that.
What's the Booster Club saying?
Okay, did put a poll out earlier. I'm going to go ahead and let it sit in y'all's brain a little bit. Who you taking, Aaron Judge or Juan Soto? So let that unravel in your head. All right, and let's get in here. David Atkins says baseball should never implement a salary cap. It shouldn't exist.
It should never exist.
It never
Well,
exists.
good.
Never,
Well,
ever?
It doesn't.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Luxury tax. Yeah. Here, live in luxury. Frost yourself.
Okay, how many teams in one conference is too big?
Well, again, if are you saying one conference of like 6 conferences? Because if you're talking 2 mega conferences, then it really doesn't matter. But if we're saying the SEC has 25 teams and the ACC has 16 and everybody, to me, if you have 4 teams more than other conferences is max to me. Anything past that, you're basically starting your own division. I mean, it's if you want to be competitive, because you have to look at the amount of games you play. Some conferences, and again, we've seen this, and now obviously with like the SEC adding Texas and Oklahoma, you add teams, you got to add games. If you have an 8-game conference schedule and then a 9-game conference schedule, that's not really going to do anything crazy. But all of a sudden, you have 4 more teams than any other conference or 6 more teams. Now you're playing 10 out of your 12 regular season games or conference, and the other team's playing 8. To me, I think that starts to muddy the waters a little bit. But that's a really good question, speaking about caps.
Well, even regardless of how many teams another conference may have, there is a certain number of teams that you can't decide who won the conference at some point. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like if you have if the SEC were to have 35 teams in it, at some point you're going to have a playoff within the conference just to know who won the conference, because you can't all play each other. So that's when it's like, okay, the conferences right now are like divisions in professional sports. We have to have the pods within the conferences, which are like divisions. And
it's a dream within a dream.
It's an Inception conference.
Well, it turns into basketball. Except every team.
Different though.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's the problem. It's not. I keep using the word feasible. I guess that I saw that in the thesaurus or something the other day. But to me, it's like having the conference basketball tournament at the end of the year, and then all of a sudden you go into the NCAA tournament. Like to me, I'm with you. I think that starts to get really, 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 really muddy, and you don't want to have a playoff to get into a playoff. I don't like that.
All right, Booster Club, go ahead and gave us an update. So Bonds hit 73 in 2001.
Yep, of course.
And Slam and Sammy hit 64 in 2001 as well.
So nothing over 60 since then.
Gotcha, okay.
It's a lot of homers, but look, Aaron Judge is a different breed.
All right, 46 was a fix. All right, and I'm getting into the Daily Wire chat a little bit right here. Mixing it up. Got to get 50%. I want a good balance.
You're an equal opportunity.
I'm more of a 60-40 pass guy, I'll be honest, but when it comes to chats, I like to go 50-50.
I respect
that. All right, will Trout or Ohtani leave the Angels first?
I think it's Trout. I just don't know how you get rid of Shohei Ohtani, and I'm saying that knowing Mike Trout is generationally talented. But he doesn't pitch. Well, that's the thing to me. It's like if you trade Shohei, you're trading one of your best pitchers and one of your best hitters. If you trade Mike Trout, you're trading one of your best hitters. I'm not a math magician, but, losing 2 things is worse than 1, I think. At least to me, it would be.
You sound like a math magician.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm certified by the Academy.
All right, hiking elevated. All right, and this is I'm aiming this one at you a little bit.
Ooh, wow.
Whoa, be careful.
No.
You be careful.
Your opinion matters on
mouth.
this. Your opinion matters on this. Okay. Which state? And he says, I'm serious. All right. Which state in the South has the best barbecue?
Wow.
You tread lightly there, sir.
Yeah, this one is
going
to piss a lot of people off either way.
You know what the answer is. In your heart, you already know. Okay. It's Georgia. Look, it's Georgia.
It's Georgia, hands down.
Dreamland
it's Georgia.
over there in your home state. Dreamland's very good. Very good. Why don't y'all come on over to Scaniers? Maybe we go down to Vandy's in Statesboro and we see what's really going on. Okay?
I'm going to be honest with you, Martin's is pretty good. That we've had here, but when it comes to what you said about the state of Alabama, you're using a lot of big words that I don't understand, so I'm gonna take them as disrespect.
Oh, it is disrespectful for sure.
We'll get you down. We'll get you down to Auburn.
That's why I asked Kirby because I wanted to know.
Look,
he was.
You want a hot take real quick?
Give me a hot take.
Dreamland's mid.
You know what?
Are you talking about the one in Tuscaloosa?
I'm with it.
Hold on.
I'm with it 100%.
Are you talking about the one in Tuscaloosa or are you talking about the one
all of them
satellite
in general? I'm
the
with
best thing at Dreamland is their banana pudding. That's it. Their barbecue, mid.
You are on fire today.
It's mid. It's mid. People are like, oh, Dreamland this, Dreamland that. Like, it is mediocre.
Is it because it's in Tuscaloosa?
No.
There's
one in Mobile. Like, and we're not saying it's bad, but compared to like the hole-in-the-wall places and some other places, Dreamland is just, they're very...
Spencer Rattler.
Wow, now that's disrespectful.
Spencer Rattler. Spencer Rattler
that's
for Dreamland Barbecue. You know what? Maybe you should sit in timeout.
Yeah, I feel like
it's real though. That's a real comp.
Let's go to mailbag. Let's go to mailbag and let's get
a real comp.
Mailbag, and I'm going to try and forget that. And honestly, since you said the word Mobile, I can't stop thinking of Bluegill. To be honest.
Oh yeah.
That's what kind of impression that place left.
Did I not tell you though?
I have to give me a.
Like you're eating delicious food and watching Gators.
Golly,
I mean, come on.
That tuna dip, I would do unforgivable things.
Hey, we got one here from Kyle Kennedy.
Yeah.
There he goes. Last week, we saw 4 sons of former major leaguers taken in the first round of the Major League Baseball draft. My question is, do y'all think that children of former professional athletes are closer to their ceiling compared to other high school athletes having been raised by a parent with a greater knowledge of the intangibles and or training requirements of what it takes at the next level?
Yes, and wait for it. Yes. Obviously, if you're Guy Fieri's kid, you're going to be good at making food. Genetically, just number one. That's science, right? At least that's what they tell us. Genetically, you already are going to have an advantage most of the time. But having somebody that played, it's not just like, all right, well, I love this sport. They know how to train you in the little things you have to do to be able to streamline your process. Because again, they've made mistakes. They know what works. They know what doesn't work. They know what worked when they were younger. They know what worked when they were older. So in the full breadth of things, yes, it is a huge advantage. And you have access to people and coaches and training facilities and drills that other people don't have. So of course it is, but it's like that way in any part of life. I mean, if you're a parent, again, like I said, if your parent's Emerald, you're going to know how to season some fish.
Yeah.
You're going to be saying bam every now and then. Like it's just part of it.
Especially when you're younger.
Yes.
Right? That helps the most when you're younger.
It's a good question.
By the time you're getting into the pros, other intangibles can
For sure. But at that point, you're already, you let it out in the pasture. We're just running around figuring it out.
Figured out whether you have
That's exactly right.
what it takes or not. All right, Matthew Cook here. You guys are now part of my daily podcast listening, so thanks for a refreshing sports show. Cheers. No, thank you. Thank you, Matthew.
Love you.
I'm out here in leftist tier central, a.k.a. Seattle.
Oh, no.
And I'm a Washington fan. What do you think will be the likely outcome for the remaining Pac-12 teams?
Number one, I don't know if you're a Mariners fan, but the kids are hot right now out there in Seattle on the Diamond. Playing pretty good. I think they beat the Rangers the other night. They beat the Rangers 9 out of the last 11 times. Here's my thing about Washington. If you look at the University of Washington, they spend a lot of money on athletics.
They do.
They're in the top tier of spending money, and I'm so surprised. I don't know if, and there's a couple, I guess you could say, if there is a team or a program that is more underrated from a potential standpoint than Washington, but underachieves. Again, it wasn't that long ago that Washington made the playoff, went down and scored a touchdown against Bama, went up to 7-0, and like I always say, just pulled a Drew Barrymore and forgot. Like, it's Washington.
Did they forget or did Bama remember?
Well, Bama remembered, but it was a mix of them forgetting and Bama remembering. And again, whenever that happens, we know what's going to happen. But Washington, I know it was a disaster with Lake and all that stuff. If Washington goes to the Big 12, because again, Washington is a flagship school. It's not a bad market at all. You just mentioned where it is, basically. When I look at Washington and I look at Colorado and I look at Arizona, there is a ton of potential in some of these places. I actually think that moving out of the Pac-10 12 into the big and steady 12 now would be a great move for them. So I think a good Washington is good for college football. I think a good Oregon is good for college football. I want the schools that spend money on trying to be good, I want to be good because I know you care. Unlike Kyler Murray when it comes to watching film. What's
two things on Washington real quick.
Uh-oh.
What is he shaking?
What's going on in the chat, Blaine? If you're on audio right now, Blaine is shaking his head in disgust.
Should have never brought up barbecue. I shouldn't ask that question.
Oh, did you start a war?
This is hilarious. Okay. Return of the Mac says George is like the Kirk Cousins of barbecue.
Oh,
not even top 10.
Wow.
Not even top 10. The question was
I don't
in the
know how to
South.
digest
How
that.
many states are in the South?
Like I agree with 50% of what you just said. You had me until Kirk Cousins. And again,
What was
I'm
his
not
pick?
saying.
What was his pick for number 1, though?
Go ahead.
No, he didn't give me his pick. He just said it's not.
Well, you got to tell us now.
Throw that out
Hey,
there.
let me. You might have put it in here, but a lot of people are in here talking.
Oh, so it's user error.
So
it's on
user
you.
error. Okay. So I'm not the guy from the Matrix with 70 TVs in front of me.
Let's work on that.
Or the guy from Swordfish. Like, I don't know, I'm not
No,
that
you're
guy.
not. You're the guy from Matlock.
2 things on Washington, though. Shout out to my boy Nick Sheridan, tight end coach out there while we're on the subject. Second thing, I saw a graph a few weeks ago. If you take away SEC teams, the programs with the most games of over 1 million viewers, I think Washington was in the top 5 of that.
I'm telling you, number one, you can read graphs. That's unbelievable.
I'm learning.
Good. I'm proud of you. Number two, again, like we were saying, Washington wants to be good.
Yeah.
It's just weird to me. And I know, you kind of look at some stuff that's happened in the past and they haven't caught a lot of breaks. But I think Washington could be a team that all of a sudden, when all this conference realignment, the Pangea stops shifting into the different continents, I think Washington could be a sneaky, sneaky team because they got money. Guess what? That Microsoft, you ever heard of it? I got a buddy who's from Seattle whose dad was a part of it. I think his dad was like, the guy who moved the chairs around but got stock in early, and now his walls change colors depending on how he feels. But speaking about how I feel, Corey Kluber, I feel nothing for you. I'm dead inside. But Max Fried, I love you. You're one of the few guys that can give up 5 runs in 4 innings and strike out 8. So that means I'm heading over to the board of emotional truth, justice, friendship, life, loss, love, and whatever's on Blaine's face. So here's what we got today, because we're going to introduce a little new segment. Well, not really a segment. We're going to start dropping our top play from the night before. At the end, I'm super jacked and tan about that one. But number one, went 1-1 yesterday. Listen, we're getting ready for football, okay? All right, I'm getting ready. The overall 124 and 118, we're still in the green. Looked at the units overall. I'm feeling really good about it. Today I'm going heavy on Philly. And I hate to do this against the Braves, but Aaron Nola has absolutely gone Alan Turing from Bletchley Park with the Enigma machine when it comes to the Braves. And his last name's Nola. Shout out to my boy Cruz Oxenrider. You know what time it is. So give me the Phillies first to score 2 runs at plus 112. Okay, first to score 2 runs. Then give me the Phillies money line at plus 104. It's a double dog bet day, fellas. It's a double dog bet day. DDBD. DC, what you cooking?
As much as it pains me to hear you take the Phillies, I do appreciate that you're leaving your emotion at the door.
I am.
Right? Betting 101 there. Let's just hope they don't score 2 in the first, because I've got the Braves-Phillies nerfy. Let's just go back to the well with that. You know what I mean? Minus 140, Blaine. And then I want the Curios match to have under 20.5 games at minus 105, the ATP in Atlanta. Tonight he's playing, not a Curios fan, but I think he'll do easy work of his opponent.
I'm proud of you leaving your emotion at the door.
There we go.
Meanwhile,
all of us?
Speaking about leaving everybody at the door, Blaine is 29 and 13 on the month. Let me just put this in perspective. The overall, look at him over there. He's just soaking this in.
It's a good month.
Button your shirt up. Anyways, Blaine last month went into the red in overalls. Okay, not the clothing overalls, like overall betting. Right now, he's 128 and 114. We call that a turnaround, buddy. That's what we call. So, Blaine, while I do give you a hard time, while I do think your mustache makes you look like one of the Earnhardt family brothers.
Take that.
Or one of the guys who invented the Ringley brothers. Who's the one who invented the planes?
The Wright brothers.
Wright brothers.
How did you not know that?
Look, I'm not a planes guy. But what do you got?
Well, look, I'm going to bring my emotion to the door.
You're bringing your emotion to the door.
That's what I'm doing. The words of Mark Wahlberg from the other guys. You keep hiding from the world. Sometime the world shows up at your front door.
Okay.
What a great movie.
I've seen that one.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to do the pedal down, scream America.
Got to creep. Creep. All right, so this is what I'm taking. All right. Why wouldn't I take Nerfies? I had someone on Twitter today. I can't remember who it is.
It was Quaid.
It was Quaid. Dennis. Blaine, he says, Nerfie's like taking an under. I'm not taking a Nerfie. Or I'm not changing something until Blaine stops taking Nerfies. But let me tell you something about betting. You win money if you get bets right. Okay? So right now, I'm doing a lot more than just keeping it fit. All right? I'm up here right now. After yesterday, let the team down. Quarterback got hurt early. Some things. The ball didn't bounce our way. And I'm fine with that. But you know what I did? In the face of just everything going down, stepped up.
You did.
I looked in the mirror. We got a long way to go. I'm not listening to all the rat poison that's going on right now. I'm grabbing my Dasani water bottle and I'm walking off the stage. but I am taking double Nerfies today because why wouldn't I?
Why wouldn't
All right. Give me the Rays and Orioles. Worked yesterday. Not great at hitting. All right. Love it. Score 3 in the second like you did yesterday. Cool. What else am I taking? Oh, God. You want to know a bet that's definitely not going to hit? It's this one right here. The White Sox and the Rockies, 2 guys, not had a great year. But sometimes you can't look at the numbers or the guy's last name, who's pitching. Sometimes you got to walk outside, lick your finger, put your finger up in there. Which way is the wind blowing? All right. It's blowing the right direction. Feels like a 2-0 type of thing.
That was already your speech.
Yeah, wow. I'm glad we finally got
Was
to
that it?
Baby Cone.
No, I don't think so.
In tennis, I'm guessing, David.
Yeah, he's big on tennis tonight.
Yeah, he's taking center. You guys are betting on a center.
Janik Center, man.
All right, the center minus 2.5 games. I'm guessing going off at minus a salty 140. And then Paul, that one's a little easier. Money line at minus 165. Baby Cones getting out there, getting the racket, figuring it out.
Tommy Paul over Jack Sock. What do you think of that matchup?
Listen, the only Paul matchup I want to see is Blaine fighting Jake Paul.
I want to see that too. Are we coming out in your entourage for that or what?
Yeah,
For sure.
I'll be dragon suit.
Now I'm going to dress up as Palpatine.
Yeah, I know. I want to be in a dragon suit, though, to rep Flaming Dragon when you walk out.
Is someone on the cusp of the Hall of Fame?
Yes. Okay, before we get to the top play
I
from
can't wait for
yesterday.
this. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get through this.
Our boy Win 2144, who was already a Hall of Famer when it was 8-0, is on the verge of doing something historic. Now you can talk about the fall of the Berlin Wall. You can talk about the invention of democracy. Those are little footnotes in history compared to the 9-0 start our buddy Michael Wynn has right now. You get to 10-0, you hit the truest Hall of Fame we've ever had. Because we have the stakes. Because I'll be honest with you, the Booster Club really overachieving when it came to getting 8-0. So Michael Wynn's got the Astros, A's, Nerfy minus 155. May the force be with you tonight, my friend. Then, speaking of Quaid, Quader 16 is 4-0, so it's not like he's over here just falling apart Post Malone style. He wants the Astros first 5 minus a half at minus 105. Wildcat Cubs fan is 3-0. He wants Nats first. He wants the Nats first 5 money line against the Dodgers, going off at minus 190. Then Cam Fran, our buddy Cam Francis, 2-0. Dodgers, Nats, Nerfy. Portmanteau 2-0. Yankees, Mets, Nerfy. Daily Wire Squirtle Squad is 1-0. He wants the Mets over 6.5 total runs. Then Sammy V's 1-0. He wants the Pirates over 2.5 runs in the first 5 innings, going off at minus 120. Then Tennyson Tipton's 1-0. Wants the Braves money line. Hope not. Neff Tinks 0-0. Yankees, Mets, Nerfy. And then the handle we all knew was coming, but we still can't figure out. Blaine's mustache was 0-1, which he is not happy about. He wants the Rays first 5 minus a half at minus 150. You come in my house, you get my wife's name right. It's Christina's, David.
Why aren't you trailing me?
Why isn't he trailing?
I'm trying to look at my mustache right
Yeah.
Why aren't you trailing me? I'm 29-13. Figure it out.
So,
Breadcrumbs.
we did want to add this to the end, and then I'm going to get to the Booster Cup really quickly. Top play from last night. Ben Gamble. This is what we call full extension. Let's go ahead and roll the clip. They're playing the Cubs. It's 1-1 in the bottom of the third. Swinging a drive to left, and look at Ben. He's pulling a Simone Biles. And I'm not talking about not showing up when it matters. What I'm talking about is full extension. Dude landed on the back of his neck, hit the somersault. There's nothing like watching a guy in the outfield go out there. We're watching a replay right here. He's left-handed. You see him dive. Took the pain. Sometimes, what do you say, Blaine, about Talladega Nights? You got to ride with the fear.
You got to learn how to ride with the fear. There's a cougar in the car.
Yeah, he rode with the fear. And you know what? Sometimes you just got to tip your hat to guys. That's part of it.
On the hair, baby.
Ben Gamble, congratulations. You're the inaugural top play from
incredible.
last night, guy.
Incredible. I don't know if he makes that play if he's left-handed or if he's right-handed.
You know what? I'm going to give him a little more credit. I think it is a little bit easier if he's right-handed.
That was
because
glove side.
His body.
Yeah, well, if I'm going right-handed here, I'm putting my left hand, my lead hand out first. Lead hand, lead eye, as opposed to eye to backhand. You're seeing it in the past, Joe.
Man, with that extension, I wouldn't bet against him to make whatever.
Look, he doesn't make that catch if he cuts his hair.
Look.
Oh, you don't think so?
No, 100%. I don't think so. I know so.
Well, look,
That's what it's going to be.
We all know that facial hair and long hair in baseball, it helps your batting average, helps your fielding ability, and your ability to pick up.
Maybe I need to
strikes after the
rethink
game.
some things then before next month. Next month betting. Maybe I need.
I'm trying to think
maybe
how
I need
you
to
would
grow
look
some
with long
facial
hair.
hair. Maybe I need to grow a mullet or something.
Maybe you should go mustache. Should y'all both do mustache? No, that's too much. I couldn't handle that.
I don't know. We're gonna think about it because I'm trying to win next month. Blaine's
Soul
over here running
patch.
away with it.
Soul patch cone.
Yeah,
You
done
can
nothing.
totally pull off a soul patch.
Oh yeah. Save
I
a
think
little
you
bit for
should do
later.
Slap it at base.
Yeah, you could ride around in a van solving mysteries. Anyway, Booster Club, real quick.
Yeah, if I hear one more thing about barbecue in California, I'm going to throw up.
Yeah, listen, if I want to go to California for barbecue, you
Oxymoron.
find the person that abducted me or I'm either possessed by a demon, Emily Rose style.
Okay, let's do it. All right, let's get to the poll.
Let's
All
do
right.
it.
Who are
Hey-
you picking first?
Okay.
All right. Is it Aaron Judge? Is it Juan Soto? Or is this Blaine's mustache?
Wait, that was the poll?
No, okay, the Blaine's mustache is not on there, but I definitely should have put it on.
Aaron Judge.
What percentage you giving?
Are you going with Aaron Judge too?
Yes, I am, but I'm
Okay.
waiting. I'm going to Price is Right this thing.
Then Aaron Judge,
Why'd you say it like that?
68%.
That's one away from my favorite number.
I'm gonna
67. I love 67%.
say Aaron Judge 68.1%.
Wow.
67. 67.
Aaron Judge, 62.
Are you for
Percent Juan Soto.
Who is guys? What 38% of y'all is taking Juan Soto? Is Juan Soto's parents in there?
A lot of Braves fans in there, and they have to compete against him in the same division. They've seen the slide up a lot. They're tired of it.
I don't know. I almost want to recount.
Okay.
I feel like we should go
Isn't
in there
it digital?
and yeah, I need a digital recount on that because I'm having a hard time believing that's what it was. Is it really 62% or you pulling some strings over there?
62%. That'd be such a random lie.
I don't know. You're great at pulling those.
Because if I was going to do that, I'd have been like 67.9%.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I'll go in there and crunch the numbers.
What's on there? You can pull it up.
We'll get our
It saves
tech
the
guy.
shot.
We'll get our tech guy to do it.
Well, I could have put it on the TV, but you wouldn't stop looking at the polls, so like I had to take it off.
Boy,
You know?
I cannot. Well, you know what? You know what's weird? You know when we both pass away and we're both in heaven, I just cannot wait to like drag you to like one of the whoever's up there and be like, "Can you tell Blaine? You can't tell a lie, right? You guys are running heaven. Can you please tell Blaine that I did not look at the poll percentage?" And when he tells you that, I hope it hurts so bad.
First of all,
hope-
it won't. I would
hope
be
it-
surprised because I feel like I saw you with my eyes look at it. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my eyes are wrong. Maybe they're just deceiving me. I mean, let's be honest. Was Helen Keller real? Probably not. But it was definitely 68%.
Was Helen Keller real?
Helen Keller's not a real thing.
Well, Dreamland is mid. I don't know about all that, but I do know
you got
Dreamland
some
is
takes today, don't you, man?
Yeah, no.
I saw
it's-
yesterday
Look, the
someone
mustache.
that did like a deep
Internet-
dive
the
in,
internet will
there's
love
no
it.
way. There's no way.
I mean, it's hard to believe. I'm not gonna lie.
How? How did she learn anything?
It's well, you know
How
what?
did she learn anything?
We'll study up on it. I'll do some research tonight. I'll use the Google machine and figure it out. But speaking about using the Google machine, you don't need to use the Google machine to go follow us on all platforms, TikTok, all that stuff. Go to dailywire.com, become a member. Look at Daily Wire Plus too. I mean, the content that we're pumping out from all angles is awesome. So make sure you check it out. And like the chances of Juan Soto being better than Aaron Judge right now, we're going, gone.